picked up a new client last week who is a small business. They don't have a big HR department, and every time they want to hire a new staff member, one of them, and that's usually the business owner, has to sit down, go through every single resume that comes in, and sometimes there's a couple of hundred of them, which means that he's spending a lot of time sifting through different resumes and looking at who's a good fit, manually sending rejection emails, and then calling the people he wants to have an interview with. So we sat down and we thought, what if we can actually automate this whole process with an agentic workflow that takes every single resume, qualifies it, like screens every single resume, qualifies it against a very specific criteria that you have, and then automatically sends all the rejection emails and only sends you, like in this case was a Slack message, with the people that are a good fit for your company. And that's exactly what we did. And I'm going to show you in just a second how it works. Then I'm going to show you how it's all set up. And if you want this template or any of the other templates that I create, and let's not forget, guys, I don't usually create videos with these fancy workflows or agent or automations that look fancy but have no practical application. Most of my stuff is things that I do for clients. So if you want this template, every other template, make sure that you come to the AI Business Builders community on School. And as you can see, I have a very large classroom that has n8n course, a template, make.com course and templates, custom GPTs, because a lot of clients also want custom GPTs rather than automations. We have the OpenAI Assistance API. I am putting a course on OpenAI Agents SDK, which is their new agents product. Of course, prompt engineering, I have a 90-day proven monetization blueprint that opens every day for you and tells you exactly what to do to start an AI business and monetize in 90 days if that's what you want. And then I have a whole lot of business growth strategy. So there's a lot. And right now, the annual membership is 50% off. So it is a really, really good deal. But let's go back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the workflow with two different resumes. Because this checkpoint here that is checking the score it will only work if one of the resume passes through the criteria, and the other one will be if it doesn't. So we're going to look at both of them, and the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually upload a resume, and then we're going to test the workflow. And quickly putting my glasses on so I can read better. And we're going to start with the first resume, which is the successful candidate. Now, both of these resumes are dummy resumes. I'm not using my client's data because it's all proprietary. And before we start, I also want to show you the Airtable that I created for them. So we decided to extract the name, the resume URL. So this URL here, on the email, contact number, address, employment history, skills, tools, education, social media handles, if they give us any, analysis details. So this is what comes out of our little agent when they analyze it, and the application status. So let's go and test it. And the first thing it does, it goes and looks for the file. And don't worry about it. Once we are finished, I'm going to open every single one of those nodes to show you exactly how they're set up. And if you want the template, just come and grab them from the AI Business Builders community, and not just one, but every single one of my templates is available in there, because I actually make money with these workflows. Okay, so it extracts the information from the file, from that PDF, then cleans up the data, puts the first lot of data into Airtable. So as you can see, I did not put address in those dummy resumes, so it doesn't have anything. It leaves it blank. And then goes through, extracts the scores, and again updates the Airtable with the analysis details and the application status And in this instance, we want to contact the candidate. So the next thing is it sent me, because I'm using my Slack for testing, it sent me a message, and the message said, yep, this is the last message. It said, Monica, hey Monica, please contact Jane Doe on this number to schedule an interview. Here's a link to the candidate's resume. And the reason I want both is because generally I'd be on my phone when I receive this message, so I can quickly tap on the number, it will start dialing, and while I'm waiting to talk to Jane Doe, I can click on the Google Drive link and read through the resume. So I have something in front of me when I'm asking for that interview. Okay, now let's go with our unsuccessful candidate. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to upload our unsuccessful candidate, which is John Doe. And we're going to do exactly the same thing, because with the unsuccessful candidates, we are sending a rejection email. And again, we're updating the status to fail. So let's test the workflow. I'm going to speed it up a tiny little bit so we don't have to wait again through the whole thing. And then we're going to start opening up every single node and looking at how it's set up. Okay, so as you can see, now we have gone through the second part because our candidate is unsuccessful. And what we're looking at in here is, the reason why they're unsuccessful, because this is actually great data that you can then put in your own vector database and use it for future recruitment. And then the application status is rejected. If we look at the email, you will see here's a brand new email that says, I've been testing it. Dear John Doe, thank you for your interest in our company and for taking the time to submit your application and resume. After careful review of your qualifications, we regret to inform you that we have decided to move forward with other candidates whose experience more closely aligns with our current requirements. And as you can see, it's really nicely formatted. It's a very polite rejection letter. And this is something that is done automatically, so you actually don't have to do it yourself, or in my case, my client doesn't have to do it themselves. Now, with the trigger, in our case, we are uploading resumes into Google Drive, and this is why it's set up this way. Sometimes you may, it will really depend on how you're receiving these resumes. Some people would receive the resumes via email, so your trigger will be to check email for resumes. It could be one of the forms, like it could be an external form that you will link with a webhook in here, or it could be the n8n native form that will be the trigger. So this trigger could be a different thing, or you can actually have several triggers because you might be receiving these resumes in several different ways. But we decided to keep it super, super simple. So I'm going to open it, and what we're looking every minute, we go and check, and we're looking for new files in that resume folder. Then we are going, hey, I need to download the file, and we're looking for that file ID, which is right here. So this is the file ID, and this is what we are transferring in our expression here, and it downloads the resume. Then we actually need to extract this file, and you can extract, this node is specifically for PDF, but I have n8n has exactly the same extraction nodes for Google Docs, for Word, or for whatever else. So we have decided to have everything as PDF and extracted. And as you can see, you can decide how to extract them. But my client said that 99.9% of the people who apply for jobs with them send their resumes as PDF, and they just get uploaded into that Google Drive. We do have another little automation, that grabs them from where they're being sent and uploads it to that Google Drive. And as you can see, it actually grabs all the text, but the text, if you look at it, is just one big lump of text. This is it. So what we need to do is we actually need to clean up this data and make it suitable to be transferred into Airtable. So we have to have a separate map for each of those fields. And basically, this is a code that you can have if you get the template from the AI Business Builders community, or otherwise you can just go to your favorite AI and you can say, hey, I am receiving this type of JSON file and I need to separate the text into these specific fields. So you will actually have to write down in your prompt every single one of those fields that you are going to be mapping out, and it will give you this code. You might have to go backwards and forwards a couple of times. I did it, but it did it on the second run. It is a JavaScript, and then when you test it, it's cleaned up. As you can see, it's all cleaned up. And the next note is to create a record in Airtable. And basically, I've chosen my base, my table, and I want to map each column manually. I can map it automatically, but it's not working in our case. So we've actually mapped out everything. As you can see, we've got the name, we've got the resume URL somewhere down here. Where is it? There's so many fields from Google. The web view link. So this is what we're mapping out, and this is what goes through Slack. And then, as you can see, we've mapped out the email, the contact number. I didn't have an address, but I'm still mapping out everything just in case something comes through in the next resume. So it's really good with the code node how you clean up the data and separate it, because that's the easiest way to map it into Airtable. And then we were using the LLM basic chain. I tried to use the agent node, but I just thought it's a bit of an overkill, because all we need is a really, really good prompt and a specific job description, so the agent understands what we're looking for. And I'm going to show you. So the very first message is the system message. And when I open it, as you can see, it's like really, really big. And I've got, this is my scoring criteria. I want it to be between 1 and 10. And I've given it everything. And then I'm like, at the end, I actually want an overall score. And when I get, so it kind of goes, okay, for educational background, the score is 8. For relevance of education to the position, it's that much. Relevant work experience is 9. So if the overall score is over 75, then this candidate is good for interview. And then we have, so I thought at first, we thought we can just have everything in one message that is just a system message. But then we thought, well, okay, this is one position, but then what if they have another position and I'm not there to do it for them? Or we just want to keep this system message robust, so it's always the same. So then we thought, okay, then we have a user message that is actually just the job description. And for the client was a social media manager and had these very, very specific criteria that we mapped out in the user message. So next time, if they have another job description, the only thing we need to change is this bit here, and this criteria message will always stay. And then what we're doing is we're extracting the scores. The reason I'm extracting the scores is now I can go a lot deeper um, into qualifying and analyzing. The client just didn't want it at the moment, but we did that with the thought in mind that maybe at some point we might actually want to do something more with these scores. So these are the scores of our unsuccessful candidate, and as you can see, we're actually extracting everything separate. And these are the thoughts of the AI, why it's giving those thoughts. So as I said, if this is a small business, so they probably won't need it. But if I'm doing something like this for a large client that actually has an HR department, all these AI thoughts for successful and unsuccessful people can be fed into a central database, and they can be used for training purposes. They can be used for anything in this company that because this is data. The more data you have, the better your systems become, your processes become, and the better your business becomes. Again, I used AI to come up with all this code. It was this time it took three goes until we got it right. And once we have these scores, we are mapping into our Airtable. We're just going to grab the ID of the Airtable, which was here, the ID. And then I literally went and grabbed every single thing in the analysis details. Where is it? Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong place. Yeah, so I grabbed every single one of those fields in here without the scores. I just grabbed them and I put them into the analysis details. And if we open it, you will see that it's just that big chunk of text that is in here. And as I said, we can either use it as a standalone for whatever reason, or we can use it as a whole for this client, because we are not using anything to train AI or to use or to create a central database. I'm just using that. I've got my overall score, and then I'm looking at this score, and the only criteria I have, if this overall score here is greater than 75, then it's a true path. And this true path will go into Slack. And the message is send. I'm sending it to the user. I chose myself from the list, simple text message, and I just mapped it out. As you can see, the name, the number, and the Google Drive link. And the last thing we're doing is a very simple update. Again, we're using the ID of the Airtable, because we always need to know which Airtable we're using. And the only thing I changed was contact requested. So this is for the first one, contact requested. And for the second pathway was that Gmail message, which is right here. So I actually used Claude I used Claude, I gave it the message, and I said, hey, can you make this into an HTML format? And it did it for me, because it looks much, much better when it's formatted with HTML. Because a lot of the times it looks good when we write it here, and then when you send the email, it looks like crap. And again, the last note was another Airtable status update, which was rejected, as this one here. So yeah, it is not a very complicated workflow, but I can tell you, every small business that regularly, even if it's not regularly, every small business that employs people has to go through the pain of doing it manually, or they can pay you a bunch of money to do it for them. Or if you are this business that needs something like this to take care of analysis and hiring and resume sifting through the system. Yeah, this is something that you need. It will save a lot of time, and it could even save the salary of somebody who has to do it, and they can be doing something more productive. And once again, if you want this template, the link for the AI business builders is under the video, and if not, I'll see you in the next video.